Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a palette collection. This is just an accumulation of palettes for a while now. There's some that I use, some that I don't use. I'm going to go through all of them. Keep on watching and stay tuned to see them all. I'm going to start out with this pile first. This is the pile that I just really don't use very often. They're really old, so I don't touch these anymore. So the first one is the Naked One palette. It just looks like this, if I can get it in frame. This bad boy, don't mind my chipped nails, is really old. This was my first ever eyeshadow palette. As you can tell, I've hit pan in multiple colors: Half Baked, Virgin, Toasted. Really good palette, very loved. The second one I have is my Anastasia contour kit. I got this when I was like 16, so a really long time ago. It's definitely beaten down and used. I actually need to get rid of this, so I will probably end up throwing it out at the end of this video. Then I have the Real Cheeky Party palette. This is from Benefit. So inside, you get a Hoola bronzer, you get a Corlista blush, Dandelion blush, Rock Tour blush, and a Sugar Bomb blush, along with a highlighter. And then I think this came with like an eyeliner and a mini mascara. So I have that. Now I'm going to get into my smaller little palettes. So the first one is this Wet n Wild one. It's really pretty. It looks like this. Super pretty. Very pigmented for the price range of it. There's some cool shadows in here. There's like a duochrome icy like bluish white color. This is really pretty. I don't use it too often because it is, you know, just tiny. I reach for my palettes more. But I have that. I have my NYX Lid Lingerie, which is a really good little palette too. This is great. If I can open it. This is great for traveling. It has really nice colors. I use this one to set my eyelid. Really pretty lilac color. Some deeper shades in here. This is a really gorgeous, like, chocolatey, I don't even know, like brown. Like, it reminds me of like peanut butter. It's like a very nice peanut butter color. So I have that. I got this at Ulta too for only like $10. And then I have my Naked Basics palette, guys. This palette is definitely, I don't want to blind y'all, this is like the OG palette. Look at that. I've hit pan in 2 of the shades. I really like this palette for its setting, but does anyone really use this anymore? I feel like this is kind of like not in trend anymore. And the last small little palette that I have is by Essence. It's called All About Sunrise. This is an all shimmer palette, but the colors of it are beautiful. They're very metallic and just stunning. I'll swatch a few. I'll do these on my arm just so you can kind of see. So there's 3 of the colors and there's them swatched. So pretty. Now I'm going to dive on into the face palettes. The first face palette that I have is this Essence Shape and Shadows palette. This is what I use for my eyebrows. So I use this color every single day. Looks really beat up. There's eyeshadow in it. This is a really good palette. This shimmer color is really good for like your inner corner. Sorry, I had a hair tie on, but like it's not even showing up on camera, but it's a really good shade. Next face palette I have is this Spotlight Highlight 6 color palette from Beach Cosmetics. This palette looks like this, and there's some really pretty shades in here. This is probably my favorite highlighter palette at the moment. Like, I can't even lie when I say these are the most pigmented shadows. Or highlighters, sorry. These are the most pigmented highlighters ever. Like, guys. Oh. Like, isn't that insane for like, I think this palette was only like $10. This is definitely a bargain. I definitely recommend it. This is like my #1 highlight palette. So I have 2 more highlight palettes. These are from Anastasia, Beverly Hills, and I had the Sugar and the Sun Dipped. The Sun Dipped was my original one. It looks like this. This is my favorite one right here. Again, extremely pigmented. Like, look at that glow. And then The next one that I have is the sugar one. This is what the sugar one looks like, and this isn't as used as my other ones, but it's still a really good palette. I really like Butterscotch and Starburst. I have a lot of colors like Marshmallow looks white, but it's like this golden color. Looks like that. Super pretty. But I have a lot of colors like that, and it's just like a white highlight with gold pigment in it. And then you have Gumdrop. Gumdrop is a like duochrome. I don't even know if you can tell, but it's just like a nice duochrome. Last, for my face palettes, I have the Park Avenue Princess by Tarte Cosmetics. This is my everyday contour kit. I love this. The contours in here are so good. Okay, next we're going to talk about my ColourPop palettes. First one that I have here is the Sweet Nothings palette. This is kind of like a purple palette. This was the 2018 holiday edition palette, I believe, or one of them. This is really pretty. I wouldn't have purchased this if I was buying it for myself. My mother did purchase this for me, and I do have a Morphe palette very similar that we'll get into later on. But this is really good if you like deeper purple shadows or like want a smoky eye. You get some light colors. These are like more glittery colors. You can see there's that one, and then you have kind of like duochrome colors. There's a swatch of them right there. Very, very pretty. But again, like I probably wouldn't purchase this if it was just like me going out and buying it. The next ColourPop palette that I have is the Double Entendre. I've heard this pronounced a few ways. I think it's Entendre though. This is probably one of my most used ColourPop palettes. I adore this to living pieces. This is perfect for work. This is perfect for if you just want a very simple neutral eye. You know, you have some more deeper tones in here. You have some shimmers. This rose gold is absolutely stunning, or like bronzy kind of color. And then you have this color down here. I love this actually for a face highlight. You have some deeper shades. There's like this kind of, again, toasty kind of like redishy brown color. There's like a shimmery brown in here. It's just perfect for traveling and everyday. Like, look at that. Ooh, my golly. This is by far one of my favorite palettes. The last small palette that I own from ColourPop is the Dream Street Kathleen Lights collection. This is so pretty. Honestly though, everyone says this is their favorite palette. I do get a lot of use out of it, especially these kind of shades are right here. I have used this a few times, but I don't know, like it doesn't scream to me. I love it and it's beautiful, but it does not scream. Maybe I'm the only one to think that, but they are extremely pigmented. I accidentally get a little bit of that pink color in there, but they're very pigmented and very buttery and creamy, and she does very, very good collabs. I have a few of her other ColourPop products. So let's talk about my bigger ColourPop palettes. These are holiday ones. You can no longer get them, I believe. These are from the 2017 holiday collection. So the first one I have is Golden State of Mind, and a lot of people hate on this palette. Like, a lot of people hate on this. This is an all shimmer palette. It has all shimmers, no mattes. There's very chunky colors in here. There's more smoother colors. There's duochromes. I absolutely adore this. I don't know why people hate on it. I don't get it. This is just so fun. Like, you have such amazing, like, oh my god, look how pigmented those colors are. Like, there's like a blue, look at that duochrome. See, it's like more smooth. You can't really tell very well. And then you have like a really chunky, and these are amazing wet. Like, what? This bad boy. The All I See Is Magic palette. This eyeshadow palette, y'all, it doesn't look spectacular, but once you start working with the colors and getting into it and using it, it's phenomenal. I mean, you have colors that just don't look like anything, and then when you swatch them or you use them, it's just so cool. Like, you have everything in here. You have like duochromes. This is a duochrome. It has like a black, not like really a duochrome, but it has like a black shift to it kind of when you put it on the eye. You have like a golden, like white base, almost like that highlighter. You have like bronzy color, gold. It's just like the best holiday palette. You wouldn't think until you start using colors. You're like, okay, there's a cranberry in here. I can do like a nice cranberry warm, you know, Christmassy or holiday wintertime look. You know, you have like, there's like a duochrome color right here. These palettes are my Too Faced palettes. So the first one's a Sweet Peach palette. This at one point was my favorite palette, hands down. As you can tell, is very used. I have used this palette quite often, and I still continue to use it, especially for work. This is a very great one. I feel like it's a very fall-esque palette. If you take out some of these colors and even at that, I don't know, it's just very beautiful, and I love it. Now my most newest palette to my collection is the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I do apologize if the angle changed. Anyways, this is hands down my favorite palette. It is so pretty, it's so natural, it's so perfect for work. The shimmers are amazing, the mattes are amazing. This green is amazing. They're very pigmented. I love this. Like the blue in this, on fire. I haven't even swatched some of these yet. That's how new it is to me. I've only used it for like maybe a week, but it's more of like a dry formula that's like insanely pigmented. Like it's so good. And it's just so natural and pretty. It just makes me think of like Ariana Grande-esque vibes for some reason. I have two more Naked palettes. I have my Naked 2 palette. This is pretty old as well. It looks like this. I've hit pan in a few of these shades. And then I have my Naked 3 palette. This one doesn't get as much use. It's very pretty, but it's just not something I reach for all the time. Here's another Tartelette palette. This one is the Tartelette in Bloom, or Tarte palette, I should say. It looks like this. This is really, really great for like work or a very subtle event, just like the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I accidentally forgot to group this palette with my Urban Decay palettes, but this is the Urban Decay Nocturnal Shadowbox. There's just some fun like colors in here. There's some neutrals, and then you have like that duochrome brown blue color. And then that's like a gunmetal gray. It's just really fun. I don't really use this too often, but when I want a grungy look if I'm going out, this is definitely the palette for that. Next up are my Huda Beauty palettes. So the first one that I have is the Huda Beauty Topaz Obsessions palette. This palette is one of her 9pan palettes, and it is absolutely stunning. It's so gorgeous. It's so easy to work with. I will say though that the 9pan palettes aren't as good as her full-size palettes, but that's just what you get. These are really cheap compared to the full-size palettes, but they still work very, very good, and this is so pretty for summertime. So I highly recommend the Topaz one. Then my love, my pride, my joy, my baby, my Huda Beauty Nude palette. My best friend got me this. We got matching ones. It's stunning. It's fun. It's unique. These colors in here are just so pretty. I mean, I can't. The mattes are creamy. Like, look at that. So pretty. Okay, these bad boys. These are more of my fun palettes. So this first one is called the Essence Never Give Up Your Daydream Eyeshadow Palette. This palette is more, to me, it's like a highlighter palette. They're all duochromes in here. Now they kind of look pastel-y, but once you kind of swatch them and play with them and, you know, put them on the eye, they're all duochromes, and they're very, very, very light. You can't tell the shift too much with this, but. And then the last fun palette I guess I have until I get into my last 4 big palettes. This is the Take Me Back to Brazil palette, and I feel like everybody has this, or at least has this, or the Morphe one, or some sort of colorful, you know, eyeshadow one. This I haven't gotten too much use out of. It's a good palette to have if you want to throw in some color here and there. I've done like a pink look with it, and I've done like a yellow look with it. The last 3 palettes I own. First off, we have the Emily Edits The Wants palette by Makeup Revolution. This is amazing. It's stunning. It's beautiful. I do not use it as much as I should, only because it's so big and bulky that I just kind of reach in the morning for my smaller palettes. It is beautiful though. Is it the best palette that I own? No, but it's drugstore. It works amazing. It's pigmented. It has a very big selection of colors, so I really like this. Morphe. I'm gonna go through these very, very fast. So the first Morphe palette that I have, I'm not even gonna look at the name. The 35R palette. This is the 35R palette. One of my friends from school, when I was in my medical esthetician school, gave this to me. And I do really like this. I think it's very pretty and up my alley. How often do I use it? Not too often. Again, I have palettes that have these similar colors in them that are smaller and easier to reach for. My next palette is the Morphe 35P palette. This is the plum palette. At one point, I thought that I would really love purple shadows on me. I have brown eyes, but I don't. There are some really fun, really cool colors in here. A lot of this is just very neutral, but I really actually do enjoy this palette for when I want a purple kind of smoky eye. And the last palette, can y'all guess what it is? If you can, type it in the comments. Okay. We will open it. It is the 35O, the original 35O. This palette, I love. I adore. I think it's so pretty. It's so creamy still. I've had it for a few years now. I mean, look at that. I barely touched that one color. These are so fun in the fall time. Like, geez Louise. I know that's kind of over that purple shadow, but wow. This is a really good palette. And when I see people declutter this, it saddens my heart. And that, boys and girls, is it. Thank you so much for watching my palette collection. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for a makeup collection coming up soon in the future if you want to see that. And if you have any other suggestions, please leave them down below in the comments.